The 2025 Razer Blade 18 isn't just another gaming laptop, it's Razer's statements piece. We're talking about a RTX 5090, Intel Ultra 9 275HX, a massive 18-inch display, and a price tag north of $5,000. On paper, it's the kind of machine that should crush games, chew through creative workloads, and still look something that you could bring into a boardroom. The question is, does it really pull that off? And today, we're going to find out if this blade is as sharp as Razer says it is. We spent some time with the Razer's latest behemoth to see if the hype holds up. We'll dive into the build quality, that enormous display, and how it feels to use day to day. And finally, we'll answer the only question that matters: who, if anyone, should buy this? Before we get into the details, a quick word about a great event happening now. If you've been eyeing an Intel-powered machine like this one, it's a great time to buy. Starting August 25th and running until September 7th, it's Intel's Gamers Day, a global event that brings deep discounts and deals on Intel-powered laptops, desktops, and components from top retailers. You can find this Razer Blade 18 and a lot of other gear on sale. It's a perfect opportunity to upgrade your rig with a new gaming laptop powered by Intel Core processors. Now let's start with the obvious. This is a very large laptop. The CNC aluminum chassis is dense and feels premium. But Razer's claim of a uni-bonding precision doesn't change the fact that this thing is a shoulder workout to carry around. Still, it's an 18-inch class machine, and the build quality is where a significant chunk of Razer's price tag goes to. It feels solid, but it's definitely not a featherweight. The Razer Blade 18 ports are a strong point. You got everything you need, from Thunderbolt 5 to a full-size SD card slot and multiple USB-A and USB-C ports. There's a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, which is an increasingly rare and welcome sight on a gaming laptop. Not only that, this review unit comes with 64 gigabytes of DDR5 memory and 4 terabytes of NVMe storage drives as well. The display is one of the key selling points, and it's an interesting choice. Razer calls it a dual-mode mini LED with a 4K 240Hz and a Full HD 440Hz mode. It's a great IPS panel, bright, colorful, and fast, but let's be clear, this is not a true mini LED panel. It doesn't have hundreds of local dimming zones that you see on high-end displays, and it's a single backlit IPS panel with 2 resolution modes. The keyboard has been redesigned and it's fine. You know, it's still a chiclet style layout with short key travel, but the key feedback is decent. The trackpad, on the other hand, is a gigantic slab of glass, and it's one of the best on a Windows machine. As for speakers, Razer markets a 6-speaker array, but in my testing, they sound a bit muffled and lack bass. It's better than most laptops, but it won't replace a good pair of headphones. Now, let's get into why you're really here: the performance. This machine packs an Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX and the new RTX 5090. On paper, it's a monster. In practice, the performance is exceptional. But let's dive a little deeper into this processor. This isn't just a slight refresh. This Core Ultra 9 275HX is based on Intel's new Arrow Lake HX architecture, a complete redesign that uses a multi-tile layout, with the CPU cores now built on a new, more advanced 3nm process. It's a 24-core chip with 8 performance cores and 16 efficiency cores. The CPU also comes with a dedicated NPU for accelerated AI tasks, and Intel's calling this a AI PC platform. We ran a full gauntlet of synthetic and gaming benchmarks to see exactly what this machine is capable of. But let's kick things off with synthetic benchmarks. In Cinebench R24, the CPU scored around 2,129 points in multi-core and 130 in single-core. Over in Cinebench R23, it hit 34,115 points on multi-core and 2,104 on single-core. Meanwhile, in Geekbench 6, the Core Ultra scored around 2,985 points on the single-core and 20,282 on the multi-core. Going over onto PC Mark 10, the Razer Blade put an impressive 8,489 points. The raw horsepower is definitely there, placing it firmly above in the top tier marks for these type of mobile processors. Now, the synthetic benchmarks for the GPU for the new RTX 5090 is pretty great. In 3D Mark Time Spy Extreme, it pulled 12,046 points, and in regular Time Spy, it hit 23,337 points. Steel Nomad landed around 6,333 points, and in Port Royal finished with 16,535 points. Now in gaming, it's just as impressive. So we ran a series of demanding titles at the laptop's native 4K resolution. Our first game is Cyberpunk 2077. Running at 4K Ultra with FrameGen and DLSS 4, the Blade averaged around 226 FPS, but turning off those fancy features and going native, it hits only around 53 FPS. This shows that in order to play at 4K with high refresh rate, you do need DLSS or FrameGen in this game. Now looking at the new Doom Dark Ages, which is a brand new graphically intense title, we saw an average of around 82 FPS in 4K and 285 FPS with FrameGen. And in Forza Motorsport, we got a constant of 111 FPS in 4K native and 175 FPS with FrameGen and DLSS turned on. And finally, in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, with all the settings maxed up, the laptop got a smooth 140 FPS in 4K native. Now, this kind of performance doesn't come easy, and that's where Razer's engineering comes into play. The real conversation here is about the CPU. The new Core Ultra 275HX is a beast, but it does kind of run hot. To deal with this, Razer is using a vapor chamber cooling system, and they're highlighting a few key innovations. First is that new fancy thermal hood that funnels air directly to the CPU heatsinks, and a second is a unique thermal paste from Honeywell, which is the PTM7958. Even with all these new fancy ways of cooling the CPU, the temperature still reached around 90 degrees, with the GPU staying at a more reasonable 78 degrees. And this is with the fans cranked up. Now, the fan noise measures around 69 decibel and it's audible, but for a 160 watt GPU and a 280 watt total package power, it's actually pretty impressive. Now, Razer's Vapor Chamber and the PTM7958 are doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but it still can't defy physics. This is a powerful hot laptop and you will definitely hear it work. The webcam's a 5 megapixel unit with Windows Hello support. It's definitely a bump over the usual 1080p cams, and you even get a privacy shutter. But honestly, image quality is still a bit grainy. Fine for video calls, but not a replacement for a proper external webcam. So how is it for daily use? Well, like most high-powered gaming laptops, the battery life is a compromise. Though Razer does claim all-day productivity, but in our tests you could expect around 6 to 7 hours of light use, like web browsing and video playback. That's a decent number for a class of this laptop, but it's definitely not a MacBook. Now let's bring some economics. Let's be honest about value here. With a starting price of over 5,000 Canadian dollars for this configuration, you're not buying this for a price to performance ratio. You're buying it for the design, the brand, and the perception of having the best. This is a desktop replacement machine that looks like a sleek Ultrabook. It's for the creative professional who needs the power of the 5090 for video editing and rendering, but who also wants a subtle, beautiful machine for client meetings. It's not for the gamer who just wants absolute best performance for their dollar. So the final verdict, the Razer Blade 18 2025 edition is a beautiful, powerful, and very expensive laptop with some real world compromises. It gets you incredible performance in a quiet, refined chassis, but that last bit of premium comes at a cost that just isn't worth it for most people. If you're a hardcore Razer fan with deep pockets, you'll be happy. But for the rest of us, there are other ways to spend $5,000. That's all for the review for the Razer Blade 18 2025. If you found this video useful, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more tech reviews. Let me know in the comments what you think about the premium you pay for a machine like this. Until next time, This is David from Real Hardware Reviews, signing out.